Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Loyalist College for our first OCAA women's volleyball match of the new year of 2018 here on this Saturday afternoon. It features the Loyalist Lancers, the home Loyalist Lancers, against the visiting George Brown Huskies out of Toronto. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brock Ormond. With me is Matthew Bridgeland, number 4 of the men's volleyball team, and also our color commentator for this afternoon. And Matt, this should be a good matchup. This Loyalist team is 8-1 on the year. They've been so strong. And again, George Brown Huskies team coming from Toronto, two hours and a bit. And they're a team that has struggled a little bit this year at 0-9, but you got to think that Loyalists will be coming out strong, being that they are one of the best teams in the OCAA this season.
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be a super important game. George Brown obviously looking to turn things around. If they can get a good win to start their season, maybe start to look and make a playoff push. And for the Lancers, keep rolling, pick up where they left off from last semester, and they should be able to make a good run at provincials.
Yeah, and they mentioned about Loyalists being 8-1. They're tied with the Algonquin Thunder for the best record in the East Division of the OCAA. George Brown 0-9. They've won just 2 sets all season. But for the Lancers, they can't afford to be complacent. They're a strong team. They look like they're all set and ready to go. They got some of the best players, in fact, in the OCAA as well. Not just great team talent, but great individual talent as well, led by perennial athlete of the weekend, the year, Sarah Pianayafu out of Ottawa in her 3rd year with the Lancers.
Yeah, Sarah, great player. She's swinging really well this year. One of the league leaders in the OCAA for kills and kills per set. She's going to be a huge part of this game. If they can get her going and she can get some kills, then they should be able to handle George Brown pretty easily.
Meantime, we turn to the Huskies side of things. Julia Vitt wearing number 8 for the Huskies in the blue. She's, of course, one of the top offensive players. The highest kill per set on the team at 1.76. She's a 5th year out of Ajax, so she's definitely going to be in her last year of college volleyball. But she's going to be a player to watch for Loyalists for sure, Matt.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, being a 5th year, that's a good veteran leadership. They have a lot of young girls on their team, and if she can keep producing and keep doing what she's doing, they have a shot to grab some momentum and turn their season around.
And this George Brown team sitting at 8 first-year players. You compare that to Loyalist with only 1, and she's a top recruit. Lorraine Spellman, another player to watch for the Lancers this game this afternoon. And she's coming out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, one of the top recruits in the country of Canada for college volleyball, and she's 3rd actually in team assists, or top OCAA assists.
Yeah, she's having an incredible rookie season. Obviously, it's a big adjustment from the high school game to the college level, and she's handled it extremely well. She's also been a big part of helping Sarah get that lead in OCAA kills.
That's right, and of course, we mentioned how this is a veteran team for the Lancers. You got here at Pianayafu, as I mentioned, Christine Madego, Emily Lenevue, Janessa Duffy, Alicia Orsborn, Raven Miracle, Jody Mitchell, who will be joining us for the men's game later on this afternoon, and of course, Tristan Estabrooks as well. So it's a smaller team for the Lancers, but they're also just a tight-knit team, and it's good to have sort of a smaller group. I mean, you don't have as many, I guess, reinforcements when players get hurt. But for Amy Hoskin and Dominique Dawes, they have been just rolling through their lineup consistently, and it's been producing results so far.
Yeah, a close-knit group, like you said, and having gone to provincials last year, they a lot of returners, so they're familiar with each other's playing style and really have great chemistry on the court, and that's a big hand, and it shows in their record being one of the top teams in the East.
Just about set to get underway here as the starting lineup for the Lancers takes the floor, as do the Huskies. We're going to have our national anthems here pretty soon as well. Meantime, before we get to that quickly, George Brown coached by Daphne Choi in her 1st year as we head to the Canadian National just about set to get underway here for this Beast versus the bottom matchup between the Loyalist Lancer women and the George Brown Husky women. As mentioned, if you missed us off the top, Loyalist 8-1 on the season, tied for first in the East Division with the Algonquin College Thunder. At the other end of the coin, George Brown 0-9, last out of the 10-team circuit in the East Division, and only 2 sets won all season. And Matt, when you look at this Husky team, we mentioned about Loyalists and all their great stars they have, but for the Huskies, what's going to be their key to be able to stop a relentless Loyalist attack?
So defense, like they say, defense wins championships. A Loyalist has a great, well-rounded offense, got a lot of options on the middle and the outside. If George Brown can stay on their toes and keep up defensively, and not let that the Loyalist defense, which is relentless, let them down, they should be able to battle in and see how they go.
As PA announcer Steve Schill delivers the starting lineup, Hannah Dossett is going to start out. She's an outside hitter, 5'6", third-year out of Kingston. Sarah Pianiafu, we mentioned, cleaned up at the Athletes Banquet last season in 2017. She's a third-year out of Ottawa, standing 5'11", another outside hitter. Jody Mitchell is out there as well, libero, 5'5", out of Whitby, second year. Emily Lenevue, third year out of Trenton. She's a middle hitter. And also Alicia Orsborn, a Belleville native, second year outside hitter, out there to start out. Christine Madogo, second year out of Ottawa, another middle hitter. She'll be a key to this attack for Loyalist. And getting set to start out, we'll get you the George Brown starting lineup as well. Christine Luong, another player to watch for the Huskies. She's a third year out of Toronto. A lot of Toronto natives too, Matt, in this game. Bunch from Toronto, one from Ajax, a couple from Mississauga. You got a Scarborough and Hamilton in there as well, and a couple natives of Taiwan, which is interesting to note. As it's served up by Jasmine Wally out of Scarborough. First year, we're underway. Dossett, nice job there to get it past. Nice diving effort there. Laying right out was Audrey Chow, an outside hitter, 5'7", and a fourth year out of Toronto. Good start for Loyalist. Hannah Dossett drops one in.
Chow is going to be a big part of this game. She's second in her team in digs. She can help assist. That'll be fantastic for George Brown.
And Loyalist is up 2-0 already as Lorraine Spellman gets the serve and drops it in. George Brown did get a touch on it, but nothing really substantial. And now Spellman will go for another leaping serve. It's
really important to serve aggressive. It takes the team out of the rhythm. If it's a bad pass, they can't really get their offense going, and then it's that much more difficult to get into the game.
Spellman has made it 3-0 for Loyalist to start this first set. Here's Chow with a nice little set. Tipped up, and Pianiafu keeps it alive. Spellman sets it for Madogo, and nice save there by the Huskies. And that'll keep things alive for Dawson and Pianiafu.
George Brown, a very scrappy team. You're going to see a lot of balls like that just tip over the net. Loyalist needs to do a good job of communicating. A good job running a scramble play as Sarah gets the pipe kill.
Sarah Pianiafu, that's why she's one of the best players in the OCAA this season. And it seems like she's been around for forever, but she's in her third year with Loyalist. Likely will be her last, as she might see a graduation.
Good dig, Dossett.
There's a nice drop by Pianiafu again. Make it 5-0 Loyalist. They're off to a roaring start.
That was a great transition play. Dossett picked up a dig in the pot and ran a quick middle play. It was an excellent transition from from defense to offense, rather.
Tipped up off the net. Nice save by Hannah Dossett. Dossett drops it in. Nice save there by Chow, but it's not going to be enough. Audrey Chow, the outside hitter there for George Brown. Actually, she's wearing the libero shirt for the Huskies to start. So Lorraine Spellman is still serving for Loyalist.
This is good. A good, nice momentum here. A 6-0 run. It's a great way to start a game and really deflate an already 0-9 deflated team. You don't, like a team like this, you don't want to let them have a shot of getting back into it and getting a little momentum.
That's right, and Loyalist again up by another point. They've started 7 straight points against this Huskies team. Spellman, another serve. Nice save by Kelsey Jane Lamprecht, a second year out of Toronto. And there's another shot that just goes wide from the Huskies. 8-0, Loyalist leads, and they're just completely running roughshod over George Brown early, as you kind of would have to expect, being that the records are so, I guess, spread out. As in terms of Loyalists being up 8-1 and George Brown sitting 0-9. But the Huskies, again, you're seeing a lot of good scrappy play, like you mentioned, Matt, and especially from Audrey Chow, who's wearing the libero shirt, the white for the Huskies.
Yeah, no, this is a good early timeout. You try and stop the momentum, see if you can get Spellman off her game a little bit, and then you just take it 1 point at a time. That's the great thing about volleyball, is the last point you just played doesn't even matter. It's a refresh, and you're on to the next one.
That's right. A short memory does play an important role in this kind of game. And of course, for Amy Hoskin and Dominique Dawes, two veteran coaches on the Loyalist side. Amy in her 8th year with the Lancers, Dominique in her 11th. And for them, it's just about making sure their team doesn't get complacent, make sure they stay focused on the task at hand. And they've certainly done that. Of course, a lot of veteran players on the floor as well helps that as well.
Yeah, that's right. Both ex-Lancers as well, so they've played the game and have a high IQ of what should be done.
There's another point for Loyalists, make it 9-0 to start out. And Lorraine Spellman is still back in the server's position. She hasn't left since the start of the game.
It's an important point. It's always important to win the timeout.
Oh, this time she goes long, and it's a first point for the Huskies. They didn't exactly win the point, though. They forced Spellman to go long with that serve. So serving now for the Huskies will be number 5, Olivia Weimer, first year out of Toronto. Spellman tosses over to Madogo, and she'll drop one in. Make it 10-1 Loyalist. And
an excellent shoot. It's a great way to get back, get the momentum back, get back serving.
It'll be Hannah Dossett with a flat serve. She'll get it up over and tossed up into the rafters. They're just about hit a light, but stays in play. Spellman tossing. Yafu slams it down. Sarah Piana Yafu. She's tops in kills in the OCAA again this season, and that's why right there, Matt.
That is the Loyalist recipe. Sarah is an incredible athlete, and she's got great hops, and is able to get up and really pound the ball down.
And again, when they go on the set there, and as the Huskies go out, make it now a 12-1 score for the Lancers. That is the recipe you mentioned. You can see as soon as they get that ball over the net, George Brown tosses it back over. They want to make sure they get 1, 2, and then toss over to Sarah Piana Yafu for that big spike.
Exactly. Great serve, a tough spot. Forces George Brown to give up a free ball, and that allows Loyalists to run their offense. Unfortunately there, Christine just tried to make a big cut into one, just a little outside.
Yeah, Christine Madago, tough luck there for her. So the Huskies end up with a second point. And serving for the Huskies will be number 15, Julia Mirda out of Mississauga, first year. And a failed tip over the net by Orsborn is going to lead to another point for the Huskies. So it's now a 9-point deficit in this first set for George Brown.
It's an excellent pass from Sarah. Passing is such a huge part of the game. Without your passing, you really can't get your offense going.
Jody Mitchell, nice play there, and a long spike from Madogo, just too far. And the Huskies are going to get a point out of that. 12-4 now the score.
Great pass from Jody Mitchell. Good set. Christine just needs a little more snap in her wrist, and she hit that corner.
Here's a serve coming from Mirda. Spellman, the set, Orsborn the spike, and it's saved briefly by the Huskies, but they couldn't get much mustard on that ball, and it's going to lead to a 13th point for Loyalists.
It's a great line shot. George Brown just playing it a little bit too tight there, and unable to corral the ball and put it back up.
George Brown, we haven't seen much of Julia Vitt, who's our star player to watch for the Huskies. She's been missing in action a bit. Actually, she's on the sidelines right now as a toss over is set by Yafu. Spellman across. Yafu, nice little touch there over top, and it's going to find its way to the floor. 14-4, Loyalist leads. So, Madogo is going to serve here for the Lancers. Shooting from flat on the floor, tipped up over, and that's going to be Loyalist ball here, it looks like, and yeah, it will be.
Yep.
Good point to their side.
Pass is a little too tight to the net. When the setter is back row, they're not allowed to dump the ball over the tape, and that was just a call there.
Here's Madolgo with another spike. Here comes a jump for the Huskies. Nice save by Spellman. You got to get it over, and they do. Nice play by Yafu. This time after the spike, she just touched it over, and a nice diving effort again, but not enough.
Such a smart hitter. Recognizes that George Brown players are spread out too wide, and just a nice little roll shot into the pot.
And the Lancers, they were a strong team last year as Madolgo goes long with that serve. They were a strong team last year, went to provincials for the first time in 6 years, and this year somehow, Matt, it seems like they're even stronger, and it's scary to think about when you got a team like that can just absolutely not just beat teams, but arguably destroy teams on any given game.
Yeah, and that experience from last year has really brought everyone a lot closer together. And then you get the addition of Lorraine, who's leading the league in OCAA, setting-wise, and it just makes them gel so much better, and you're able to run such a smooth offense.
17-5, Loyalist leads now, as tagging out will be Orsborn for Janessa Duffy. 5'9" outside hitter out of Trenton. A second year, she's wearing number 11 in the white and red for the Loyalist Lancers. She'll serve it. Up now for the spike and into the net. That was Julia Vitt, the 5th year out of Ajax, as I mentioned. First time we've got to see her in this game.
So that was just pushed a little bit outside. Didn't really give Julia a great opportunity to get an attack on the ball there.
Nice touch by Yafu right into the net. And it's now an 18-6 score, as we'll quickly throw down to, hang on, no, well, we won't throw down to Becky McMullen, who is our sideline reporter for this game. There's a nice stop there, nice block by the George Brown Huskies. That was number 6, Kelsey Jane Lamprecht, with the nice block.
It was a good close. Sarah didn't pass the ball all that great, and Lorraine didn't have a ton of options, but good job by George Brown to recognize that and close the block.
Here's Mitchell now up over the net. The save by the Huskies. Tossed over. Dossett set to Spellman. Leneveu changes directions there with that spike, but a nice save by the Huskies. Another spike incoming. Good play by the long arms of Duffy to keep it alive. Spellman's got to get it over. He can only touch it 3 times before it's got to go over the net. Yafu with a nice save there with one arm. Yafu gets it back again, puts it into the net, just touched it. Maybe a little too soft on that play there by Yafu, but it's 18-8 regardless for the Lancers.
Sarah just trying to be a little bit too fancy in that kind of play. It was a good set from Hannah, but sometimes you just need to do the simple play and keep the set going.
And Julia Vitt fanned on her spike there, or on her serve rather, so that's an easy 19th point for Loyalist here in the first set. Here comes Yafu now. First time she's gotten to serve in this game, and that's what everybody's coming here to see. And Loyalist is going to get a point here, as a double touch is going to be called by our chair official, as we'll head to a timeout. 20-8 Loyalist leads, and we'll send down to Becky McMullen here for a little bit from the sidelines. No, we won't go to Becky, my mistake, and we'll just talk a little bit about this first set so far. Loyalist, as expected, are controlling the pace of play, Matt, and what else would you expect from a team that sits in a tie for first in the East Division?
Yeah, that's right. They look like they picked up where they left off from the first semester break. And that, again, it's super important. You want to stay gelled as a team. Sometimes over the break you can tend to lose it a little bit, but it doesn't look like that's the case here for the Lancers. And for George Brown, they just need to take it really 1 point at a time. That's all volleyball is, right? You just work 1 point at a time, and you just forget what happened in the last one.
That's right. It's somewhat of a cliche, but it is true, absolutely. And for Loyalists, they got to be able to make sure they keep their heads in the game. They're up big time here in this first set, and actually looks like they've won the first set. Oh, it's goes to 20 points.
I think they might just have a clock malfunction.
I was going to say, yeah, that's what they're doing right now. You're right, Matt. They're going to go over and have a talk with the timekeeper's booth. Again, this has been a busy time for Loyalist sports coming off of the Christmas break, and of course a bit of a shorter Christmas break for everybody, being all of what's gone on in the first half of the year. They're trying to fix the clock still right now. Loyalist men's and women's basketball teams played last night, and they beat the Centennial Colts. They swept them. Both men's and women's teams turned out victorious.
Both great games. The men had a really big win. Centennial was 7-3 coming in, 4-6, and that was a great way to start their 2018 season or year.
Women trying to start theirs on the right foot as well, and Hannah Dossett drops in the point. 21-8 Loyalist leads now. We don't have the score up on the board right now, but we can map it out from when the clock went out. They're just trying to fix the malfunction right now. Here's a toss-up, nice spike, and Julia Vitt with that strong arm of hers. Emily Lenevue drops it in. Nice play by the Huskies to keep it alive, and they're going to be running out of room there. Tough luck for Lamprecht as she was trying to jump out and get a hold of it. Unfortunately, she was way far away from the net. It would have had to taken a miracle for her to put that one over.
It's an excellent swing by Julia Vitt. Sarah did a great job reading her shoulder and swinging around.
And there is an ace for Sarah Pianayafu, first of the game. And that makes it 23-8 for Loyalist. Nice to see someone with such a strong arm and a strong swing, like you mentioned, be able to put that one in. As the Huskies work it out, nice save by Mitchell in the backcourt. Estabrooks will loop it over. That's an easy set for the Huskies, and they drop it in. Good work by Lamprecht to put it off the hand of Spellman and into the floor.
Excellent set. It's a great pass, and George Brown is able to execute and steal a point back.
That's George Brown's 9th of the game so far, the set rather, and the game, I guess. As for Loyalists, you see Jody Mitchell wearing the dark shirt, the navy blue for Loyalists, while the rest of the team is wearing white. That is the libero. That's Huskies tip it over, and that's going to be Loyalist ball. 24-9 the score. And libero, Matt, what's their job ultimately in volleyball?
Ultimately, a libero is your passer. They should be your best passer on the team in serve receive, and ultimately they're a defensive player. So they can come onto the court and check out any player they want. And basically you want to take out one of your weaker passers for one of your stronger passers.
And Loyalist finishes off the first set with a victory, and they'll slap 5 with the men's team, who are getting set to warm up. 25-9 the score in favor of the Loyalist Lady Lancers in set number 1. It's a best 3 out of 5, so if the Lancers can take the next 2 sets, then they would have completed the sweep and given themselves their 9th victory of the season. The Huskies, though, they want to try and at least push it to 4 sets, if not 5, but it's going to be a tall task, being that this Loyalist team is so talented. As we'll get set for set 2, but first of all, Matt, as we head over to as our camera heads over to the sidelines, what did you like from both teams in that first set?
Loyalist, they had a lot of momentum. They started out with an 8-0 run, and that's super important to start off the game, especially. You just kind of let the other team know you're here for business. You're here to play and not to let anyone push you around. George Brown, they were playing really well defensively, getting a lot of good touches, and able to put the ball back over. Still staying resilient on defense and able to keep up with Loyalist.
Yeah, it's been just a great set so far. A great game overall for the Lancers. Of course, they're coming off of a 3-set win before Christmas, December the 1st at Sir Sanford Fleming. And of course, again, Sarah Pianayafu was a big part of that. 14 kills for her. Christine Medago with 8, Alicia Orsborn with 7, and Hannah Dossett with 6. So again, this Lancers team, just you can't stop them once they get their finely tuned machine rolling. Lorraine Spellman with 29 assists as well. That has put her up in the top 3 of OCAA setters and assists, as we mentioned. But the Huskies, though, they had a good effort in that first set as well. They pushed 9 points across the board, but it's just going to be tough to try and stop this Loyalist team once they get rolling.
Yeah, and even if you you can't get the job done, it's all about building momentum for the next match, the next set, the next point, and really able to keep your spirits high and keep a positive attitude. And volleyball is such a mental game, and as soon as you start getting down on yourself and your team starts getting down, that's when things start to fall apart.
Yeah, that's right, and it absolutely is something, like you said before, Matt, that you have to put that set out of your brain, just get back and try and make it better in the second set, and even point to point too. You can't really afford to be worrying about missed shots or missed opportunities for too long, because you're just going to wear yourself down, and it's already tough enough playing against a good team like the Lady Lancers. So you just got to be able to put it out of your head and listen to your coach and make sure you've got a good attitude and the right attitude when it comes to picking up points and winning sets.
Exactly, and there's no point in dwelling on the last point. It's not going to change. What happened, and there's really nothing you can do about it except for prepare for the next one.
That's right. The Lancers, we mentioned again, if you missed it off the top, they're 8-1, which is tied for first in the East with the Algonquin College Thunder. And believe it or not, that's the only team that's beaten Loyalist this season. Back on November 24th, when Loyalist made a trip to Algonquin, they had 6 straight games on the road to close out the first half of the season, as the ball's going to spin there on the top of the net, put off the net, stays in play. Spellman on the touch. Dossett slams it right off of the outstretched arms of the combatant on the other side. Loyalist still keeping it alive. Madogo up off the hands.
Great defense.
There, yeah, great defense indeed by the Huskies. Another slam, and that one's going to pop out off an arm. And a good start to the second set for Loyalist. As we've switched sides here, George Brown in the blue and off-white, almost gray color, standing on the left side of the court, and on the other side of the net to the right of our broadcast center, it's the Loyalist Lancers in the white and red. Mitchell up to Spellman. Sarah Pianayafu there. She'll drop it in off the net. Good work by the star player out of the Loyalist Lancers.
Great defense from both teams here to start out the first 2 points of this game. George Brown hasn't really run a middle option at all, so you can see that Loyalist is starting to cheat a little bit outside and key on their outside hitter.
Loyalist drops in another point, so that's 3-0 now to start the second set. Here's Spellman on that serve. Nice toss over. Keeping it alive is Pianayafu. And Madogo can't quite get it over. Good work there by number 10. That was Jasmine Walia out of Scarborough. Walia will get a chance to serve as well. She'll start out from the backcourt to the left of our broadcast center. There's the spike. Mitchell handing it up. Dossett tries to get it over. Nice play. It just stays in on side there. Spellman tried to dive at it, but she was too little too late there.
A little bit of standing around from the Loyalist Lancers there. Should be right in tight, covering your hitter for situations just like that.
Absolutely, and Spellman with a good effort there to lay out, try and keep that ball alive, but ultimately she just missed it by a couple seconds. There's a nice play, though, on the kill by Dossett. And now when we mentioned kill, Loyalist making it 4-2 with the Hannah Dossett kill. For those that are new to volleyball and might not know what the terminology is, Matt, what is a kill?
So a kill is a downward attack that ultimately ends up scoring. It can be a shot off the block, or it could be hit right down, like Sarah tends to do so often. But it's a hard-driven ball that ultimately ends up scoring.
And it's a 5-2 Loyalist lead now as George Brown put it out of the field of play. There's a nice spike. That's going to be good.
Good
nice
middle
work.
run.
Yeah, Tisha Graham out of Hamilton, second year, put it right off the arm of a Loyalist player. And of course, if the ball goes off of an opposing player and goes out of bounds, it's still a point for the attacking team because the ball did touch the opposing player. Nice touch by Julia Vitt, and that makes it 5-4. Just a little bit over top there, and she put her hands right over. Of course, you can't touch the net while you're putting your hands over. Loyalist with a good effort there, though. Here's a set, Spellman to Madogo. Nice stay there by the Lancers, but another touch, and Julia Vitt has another point for George Brown. It's 5-5.
You can see just like that, a little bit, a point here, a point there, a little bit of momentum, and it's a brand new game.
Exactly, and volleyball really is a momentum game, as you mentioned. Once you get 1 point, you get 2, 3, 4, and it all starts to pick up, and there you go again. George Brown Huskies have continued their strong momentum to make it 6-5. They got their first lead of the game and the set as well.
Super important here for Loyalist. George Brown on a bit of a serving run here. Just need a quick ball, a quick side out. There you go. A missed serve and gives the point back to Loyalist.
Yep, that ties things up at 6 points apiece for Loyalist. Lancers leading in sets 1-0 here on OCAA action. Or in OCAA action, rather. Nice tip over, and it's going to be a Loyalist point.
Ball just touched the top of the antenna there. Anything to do with the antenna, even in the net, is ruled out of bounds. And it was a great tip, but just nicked the top of the antenna.
Yep. Got to work with the room you got for sure. There's a nice play by Vitt on the spike, and all smiles from the Huskies on that play. And tagging out will be Melissa Lingat, first year to Toronto. She's wearing number 4, and now the libero shirt for the Huskies.
She's done a great job stepping in, made a couple of really nice passes.
Here's the toss by Graham. Nice play by Mitchell. Need to get it over there on the third touch. Yafu does. Vitt up. Nice touch there out of bounds. Julia Vitt with a good effort, but it's going to be an 8-7 Lancers lead. So Graham comes out, and back in is Melissa Lingat. Setting and throwing over is Janessa Duffy. Vitt slams it over. Nice save by Dossett. Spellman, second touch, third touch from Yafu, and it's in. Nice diving effort to stretch out by Lamprecht, but she just got her hand on it after the ball had already touched the floor, so that's good for Yafu, and it's 9-7 Loyalist.
Such a smart shot. See, sees the court so well. Able to do a nice little roll.
There's a nice spike. Good block there by Yafu. Up it goes. Vitt's got to get it over, and she does. Yafu, that one hits the antenna, and that's a good point for the Huskies.
It's a good effort by Jody Mitchell there, but as I said previously, anything to do with the antenna, and it's automatically out of bounds.
Here's a serve from Kristen Luong out of Toronto. Yafu gets it over. Lingat saves it. Here's the touch up by Walia. Nice spike by Luong, but it stays inbounds for Loyalist, and Lenevue just gets it over, squeezed it across the netting. And Emily Lenevue out of Trenton, second year. She was one of the top Lancer spikers last season, and she was a key piece of Amy Hoskin and Dominique Dawes' attack.
Yeah, veteran leadership on this team. An academic All-Canadian last year as well. Nice swing from Sarah Pianiafu, just out of the pipe ball. That's a great shot.
So Yafu will go into the serving position. 11-8 Loyalist leads. Yafu leaps into her spike. Ball will touch the ceiling, so that's deemed by a chair ref to be out of play, and a 12-8 Loyalist lead. Timeout is called by the George Brown Huskies. And again, another good start for Loyalists. Maybe not as dominant as the first set was, obviously, going up by 10 points early, or 9 points, I should say, but still, the Loyalist Lancers, there's a big reason why they can win so much. They're able to win in any circumstance.
Yeah, they're able to. They had a bit of a rocky patch there, and let George Brown kind of get back into this game. But like you said, veteran leadership and the presence of going all the way to provincials last year has taught them to just keep going and keep going with the next point. It's a good timeout here from George Brown, kind of kill the momentum a little bit, and see if they can pull back into the game again.
The Huskies, of course, I mentioned, coached by Daphne Choi in her first year. Assistant coaches are Dana Cook, Leslie Lavelle, Bonnie Tran, and Richard Sirote. And on the other side, Amy Hoskin and Dominique Dawes for Loyalist, both veteran coaches. And as Matt alluded to earlier, both played for Loyalist at one point. Rebecca Ramsey is the assistant coach. She's in her second year with the Lancers. And of course, she couldn't have come at a better time with Loyalist women's volleyball hitting a fever pitch here in Belleville. The OCAA, they've taken it by storm the last couple of years, and they are actually, you'd probably think they're going to be favorites going into the playoffs and then provincials.
Yep.
And for those folks that want to tune into provincials, which will be held in late February, Matt, where will it be this year?
This year, the women's provincials is in Centennial, which is a school in Toronto.
Centennial, host of the home of the Colts. And again, Centennial's always been a competitive volleyball school. As Loyalist got a point there coming off the timeout. Yafu with a huge spike, and again, Sarah Piana Yafu, second ace of the game for her. Perfect job, too.
Incredible float serve, nice and aggressive, not a lot of movement on the ball.
Yeah, it just dove down, too, it looked like, and this one's going to be out this time. Yafu trying to go for another long serve. Unfortunately, just a little too long this time. And Julia Vitt is going to start from the backcourt for the Huskies. Open palm smack there. Kept alive by the Lancers. Nice touch. Back over the net it goes. Spellman puts it over. Good effort by the Huskies. They keep it alive briefly, but they got 3 touches on it, and there's no way they're going to get it over with their 3 players all laying on the floor. So 15-9, the Lancers lead now. Going up to serve, and it's onside. Vitt up in the air. This one's just going to stay alive from our broadcast center. Not alive in the play, though, as the Lancers get another chance to start out to serve. 16-9, the Lancers lead. Emily Lenevue will serve up for the Lancers. Again, all games going to 25 points. Lancers won the last set 25-9. Here's a big spike incoming, and that's going to be George Brown's point. 16-10 now the score. Spellman went face-to-face, though, with Kelsey Jane Lamprecht, and just unfortunately, the ball didn't go onto her side.
It's a smart shot, recognizing that Spellman's hands weren't quite turned back into the court. Just use her hands.
Now, Lorraine Spellman, the only first-year player on this Lancer team, as I mentioned off the top. Madogo with a hard spike, and she puts it right into the far corner, eluding everybody out, every outstretched arm on that Husky side, and she gets Loyalist's 17th point of the set.
That's a great bounce back point. Good run by Spellman there, running the step around with Christine.
And there's a point for the Lancers again. Loyalist continues to just get their big key cogs in the mix, and Spellman's going to put that serve into the net, so no harm, no foul there. Those still up by 7 points at 18-11. As the Loyalist group gets a new player in, Raven Miracle will check into the game for the first time. She's a second year out of Deseronto. She's in. Lorraine Spellman will take a seat. Jasmine Walia, meantime, will serve for the Huskies. Mitchell with a save. Tossed back by Miracle, and this is Huskies' ball, and it was deemed a double touch. And it also could have been a throw, too. Walia goes back to serve for the Huskies. She gets it over.
Excellent pass.
Here's a set by Miracle, and Dossett puts it into the net. So the Huskies are starting to whittle down their deficit. It's now 5 points at 18-13. Loyalist lead.
Pick away 1 point at a time and build a little bit of momentum. See if they can keep rolling and maybe tie this game up.
Walia serves again. Mitchell sets up. Nice play there by Lingott to slide out on her knees, keep the play alive. Huskies get it over. Loyalist will set things up, though. Nice save. Up in the air it goes. Graham gets it over. Yafu in the backcourt to Miracle. Over to Dossett for the big spike. Nice play, though, to keep it alive again by Chow, and then she puts it into the net as she was trying to spike it from too far out. And it's now a 19th point for Loyalist.
Excellent positioning, though. Great dig. George Brown, really scrappy defensively, able to keep the ball alive.
Hannah Dossett shoots it over. Chow keeps it alive. Walia up in a nice set by Luong. And that'll be Loyalist ball, Loyalist point. Good work by the Lancers again. And starting out will be Dossett on another serve. Hannah Dossett. Kingston native gets it over. Luong. Walia joining in. Chow smacks it over. Madogo got a touch on it, and about 3 players went sliding for it. And none of them could come up with the ball. It's 20-14 now, Lancer lead.
It's a great touch by Christine, able to stick with the ball. Sometimes on those scrambles plays, you don't know if it's going to be a free ball or not. And she's able to stick with it and get a touch. Unfortunately, unable to get a second.
Here comes Janessa Duffy now. She's going to put that one into the net. Tough luck for number 11.
It's good for George Brown. Again, building momentum, and even if they don't end up crawling back from this set, they've set themselves up for the third.
Huskies serve is going to go out of bounds. That was courtesy of Kelsey Jane Lamprecht. So the Lancers have a 21-15 lead now. A timeout is called by the Huskies. And again, for those of you that aren't familiar with the sort of inner rules of volleyball, Matt, how many timeouts do you have over the course of a game and set?
So per set, each team gets 2 timeouts. And then when you go into a 5th set, you also, even though you only play 15 points, you still get your 2 timeouts. George Brown using their second timeout, a crucial point here. It's still anyone's game. George Brown is still able to come back and end up tying up the set or even winning it. It's a good timeout to kind of talk strategy and see if they can crawl their way back in.
And the Lancers have controlled much of the game so far, but George Brown coming back with a much better second set after going down by several points early on in the first set, really never being able to recover. 25-9 ended up being the score after one set. And so far in set number 2, Loyalist has a 21-15 lead. We thank you once again for tuning in to OCAA volleyball action. First games for both the women and men's teams in the year of 2018. Brock Ormond and Matthew Bridgeland with you. I'd also like to thank Film Television Production for putting on this broadcast. Doing a great job as usual, led by Paul Papadopoulos, Ben Forgy, Eric Howard, and the gang here at Loyalist. Here's a setup now, tipped by Lenevue, and that's going to be inbounds. That's a good point for Loyalist, and it's now a 7-point spread.
Great reach from Emily Lavenu, able to save a set there and just tip it over the block.
So the Lancer ladies put their arms up, trying to block out the view of the Huskies. Long strike there from Graham, and that's going to be way out of bounds. Tisha Graham with a strong spike. Just unfortunately, maybe too strong for number 14 in the blue and gray. So Christine Madogo will serve. Loyalist looking to get the penultimate point to win this set. There's a nice spike by Long, that's blocked. Stays alive. Up in the air it goes and out of bounds. That's Loyalist point, so they are going to be down now to the winning point here in this set. 24-15. Second set. Madogo with the serve. Chow keeps it up. Walia back to Chow for a little touch into the backcourt. Nice play by Dossett to keep it going. Here's a big spike again. That's your winning point right there. Sarah Piana-Yafu and Christine Madogo coming together on that one, 25-15. Loyalist takes set number 2, and the Lancers are now 1 away from 7 clean sets this season. 7 straight sets, I should say. And they're going to go back onto the left side of the court. And Matt, once again, another impressive run for Loyalist, but the Huskies with a bounce back set. And
yeah, putting up 15 points, able to generate a little momentum, and you never know, as soon as you can take one set, you can lead into the 4th and the 5th, and it could be anyone's game still.
Yeah, that's right, and the Lancers are likely going to be seeing a little more of a shake-up here in terms of getting new players on the floor. Raven Miracle got to see some floor time in the second set. Alicia Orsborn, you got to think, will get back into action pretty soon as well. As Lancers lead 2-0 now, 25-9. They won set 1, 25-15 set number 2. And Matt, just before you head out, I know you got your game coming up next, so we'll let you get set up and get prepped for that. But again, what do you like to see from the women in the third set from both sides?
So for George Brown, keep playing well defensively. They had a couple of good blocks and some really good positional digs. You keep staying scrappy, you keep staying on the ball, and you can crawl back into this. And for the Lancers, it's really, don't let George Brown get back into this game. You're already up 2 sets. You took the first 2 pretty handedly. Just close out the third set and enjoy the night off.
Absolutely, and we thank you, Matt, for coming on, doing this broadcast with us, and good luck in your game. We hope that the men can pull out a big win against a strong Huskies team.
Yeah, thank you very much. It should be a bit of a competitive game.
Absolutely, and we'll now, as we get set for the third set, we'll welcome in Eric Howard shortly, our second color man this afternoon. And Eric, impressive first 2 sets for Loyalist, and the Huskies with a good bounce back in the second set. But again, once this Lancers team gets going, they're just too strong to stop.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Matt, for pitching in there for the first 2 sets. Thanks, Brock. Yeah, it's just sitting back and watching the first 2 sets. It seems that communication seems to be the thing that is making the difference between the 2 teams. I think that the relaxed sort of talking on the court for the Lancers is making the difference in their play. Noticing that George Brown, I think they're a little bit more tense. They're not communicating as much as they could be to maybe make the difference.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's, again, Loyalist is a loose team too. Of course, it helps when you're 8-1 on the season, but at the same time, you got to be able to be a little loose and have a little fun, and they have done that so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that you can see they're having a great time. When the game is about transfer of energy and transfer of so many different things. We've got momentum is a huge part, and you could see when George Brown got it back there in that the beginning of that first set, or the second set, I should say. They carried it a little while, but eventually the momentum came back to the Lancers.
Yeah, and the Lancers just are able to just completely just bury you with their strong play. And of course, they got a lot of good strikes from Sarah Piana-Yafu, the likes of Christine Madogo as well. Also, Hannah Dossett's been in the mix. Lorraine Spellman's been good as we get set to start the third set. Potentially the winning one for Loyalist, and they get off to a good start. Christine Madogo with a nice swat. And she'll wear number 2 for Loyalist and is a native of Ottawa, middle hitter, 5'9". A lot of tall ladies on this Loyalist team, led by Emily Nenevenu, 6'1".
Yeah, the Ottawa area has some really strong volleyball players. Their clubs, and they dominate out in that in the East.
Yeah, absolutely, and look no further than the Algonquin College Thunder, who are tied with Loyalist for the top spot in the East Division. There's a nice play there by the Huskies. Spellman tried to stretch out with her left arm, got a touch on it, but not enough to get it up in the air, keep it alive, and get it over the net. So the Huskies drop back to serve. Lamprecht gets it over. Mitchell backing up there, backpedaling pretty quick too, and keeps it alive, and that's going to be a point for Loyalist. Jody Mitchell, great work there to keep her quick feet moving and keep the play alive and get one back over the net for a point. Mitchell serves, and another point for Loyalist. And it was deemed to be a lift there by the chair official. So 4-1 Loyalist leads now.
Yeah, that's Paul Whalen. That's the head coach, or the head referee from Nicholson Catholic College here in Belleville.
Yeah, great veteran official to have doing these games, OCAA style. And there's another point for Loyalist. Yafu drops it over. Lancers are rolling again to start the third set. They want to finish off the Huskies pretty quick and lock up a third set victory as Mitchell's serve goes out of bounds on the left side of the court. So the Huskies pick up their second point. Tisha Graham, wearing number 14 in the blue, will start to serve. Graham gets it over. Mitchell up for Spellman. Madogo the strike, and a beauty from Christine Madogo. Another kill for number 2. And the white, she'll go back to serve. And all smiles again from Loyalist.
Yeah, George Brown was caught, I think, slow to transition after that serve and got caught there.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes too, especially with a team that's not quite as experienced. This Huskies team, as I mentioned off the top, has 8 first-year players as Walia does drop one over. And in fact, they have only 4 second-year players as well. A third year, a fourth year, and a fifth year. So they got more reinforcements, more players than Loyalist does, but they just don't quite have that experience. And it's really seemed to hurt them a little bit this year. Walia on the set, tipped off the net, stayed alive, but they got a 4th touch on it, so that's an automatic point for Loyalists. You can't touch it any more than 3 times before it has to go over the net.
Yeah, Lorraine, number 5, she's shown some great patience in her sets and moving her around to, outside, middle, and right side. So it's working really well for them. There she is, yeah. It's just great to see her patience and positioning of where she's putting those sets.
Yeah, outstanding work by Lorraine Spellman. She's a first-year player out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, the only non-Ontario-born player on this Loyalist team. Nice block by Lenevue. Ball pops over again, spinning. Miracle. Somebody's got to take it. Mitchell does. She'll toss it over. Long stretch, though. Nice play to keep it alive by Lamprecht. Up and over it goes. That is just going to go out of bounds, barely. Had a chance to touch the line, but just missed by inches.
Yeah, the Lancers are really moving the ball around on the other side, and I think the George Brown's just getting caught out of position a little bit too much.
And there was a long serve that missed. Actually, no, it did touch the line, so Loyalist gets a 10th point, 10-3 the score. And again, Eric, you mentioned about the Huskies' transition game not working so far in the third set. They've kind of gone back to their first set ways of just not quite being able to get good enough bounces and get enough players into good positions to get points.
Yeah, it looks like that's probably what they're going to talk about, kind of keeping a little bit to their home base, which is kind of where you want to be. Seems like they're getting pulled around by, Lorraine's sets and her choices of where things are going. It tends to drive you off your center, and that's where you want to be. You want to try and stay your position so that you have a better chance at getting those balls that come over.
Lancers will break from their huddle. They're being led. Like, this is arguably, you'd put this up against any team in the OCAA right now as one of the best 6 core players on the floor. You got Mitchell, Miracle, Osborne, Pianayafu, Spellman, and Lenevue. And you really can't go wrong with anybody on this team, really.
Yeah, really strong lineup, and it'll be great to see how they perform in provincials, because they're definitely going.
There's another nice touch by Spellman, and she drops it in to make it 11-3 Loyalist. And of course, you got Hannah Dossett, Janessa Duffy, Christine Madogo, and Tristan Estabrooks on the bench. So it's, again, you can throw just about anybody on the floor at any given time and know they're going to come through for you. There's a point for the Huskies, making it 11-4. And the girls in the white and red will have to drop back now into a defensive positioning as the Huskies get set to serve. Ball just gets over. Nice effort by Yafu, but a nice little short serve from the Huskies.
Yeah,
and
now we see that shift in momentum. Yeah, right. It's coming back to to George Brown, and maybe that timeout was really useful.
Yeah, definitely. Timeouts can definitely help when you're down like the Huskies were, but Lenevue is going to swat one into the open far corner and make it 12-5 Lancers. So Loyalist gets the ball back and gets set to serve. Sarah Pianayafu is the danger here for the Huskies as she steps into her serve and gets it in. almost an ace, but not quite. She's already picked up a couple in this game. And
Yeah,
Yafu,
she's got such height on her vertical, and those jump serves are just so hard to defend.
yeah, you can see it just dip too. It's so sharp too, the way it goes down on that plane. As Spellman gets it to Mitchell and drops it in off the hand. That's another point for the Lancers, and Yafu's going to drop back to serve again. 14-5, the Lancers all over George Brown in this one.
Seems like George Brown's positioning is a little bit better, but it just doesn't. The offense is just too much from the Lancers.
Absolutely, there's another tough serve from Yafu. Huskies going to have a tough time to get it over, but they do. Orsborn keeps it alive. Spellman, Leneview spanks it in right in the far side of the court again. And Emily Leneview continues to roll for the Lancers. She was named Athlete of the Week back in November. And also Lorraine Spellman on the floor. She was Athlete of the Week in the first week of December. So again, it's hard to defend when you got so many good horses coming at you. And there's another point for Leneview.
Yeah, that last point she scored was we'll call a slide, and she slided from the middle out to the outside, which is really hard to defend on a block.
Yeah, definitely movement is important in this sport. Being able to move around, be able to change your directions a little bit. And of course, you got everybody set up in the same position, 3 up front, 3 in the back. But of course, it can be definitely malleable, and you see Loyalist didn't really have all 6 set up in the right position. They just want to be able to be flexible and work around the ball coming different ways. You got to be able to switch up positioning pretty well, and Mitchell does, and she'll drop another one in.
Yeah, that was a beautiful dig by Raven to pick that up and eventually get the point there.
Raven Miracle, she's a setter and libero, 5'5", second year out of Deserano. Nice long toss from Leneview is going to go out, so that'll give the Huskies another point. It's 17-7 Lancers. It'll be Jasmine Wallia getting set to serve for the Huskies. Wallia getting up and gets it over. Nice play by Miracle to briefly keep it alive, but the ball was just popped up too high. Strong serve from Wallia. And it was too hot for Raven Miracle to handle. Wallia. Second serve for her on this set. Nice play there by Miracle to keep it alive, diving right out. Estabrooks does a good job of keeping it going for Loyalists as well. Here comes the serve and the spike, and a good work there by the Huskies to get it over. Now they're making their deficit a little less. 17-9 the score now for Loyalist.
Yeah, that was a great play by George Brown not to give up on that play. They really stayed strong and brought it home there for that point.
And there's another one for the Huskies. Again, we mentioned it early on, momentum is so key. And for a George Brown Huskies team that has yet to win a game and only won 2 sets all season, for them this is so important to be able to get a little bit of momentum at least and be able to try and take something away from a good Lancers team. Spellman and Madogo, easy spike there, like clockwork. Just like clockwork for the Loyalist Lancers, and Christine Madogo is the attacker on that play. Timeout going to be called here for the Huskies.
Yeah, that's another really tough when it's called a quick, when the setter sets the ball in a really fast way to the middle, and it's very hard to defend that type of attack.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, Lancers with so many good attackers too. That's the biggest thing. You got Piana Yafu, you got Madogo, you got Dawsett. Spellman can even get it over sometimes as well, even though she's mostly a setter. Alicia Orsborn's pretty strong from the backcourt. Jody Mitchell doesn't have the big windmill spike that the other ones have, but she's able to get it over with enough English on the ball to be able to drop it in.
Yeah, she's got a good vertical for what she did, and then she had that 1 point there where I think she was surprised she got that high off the ground. So it was nice to see. especially for someone who plays libero most of the time, where she's a defensive player in the backcourt. So I think she's having a good time being up front.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's again, it's a testament to how good your team is and how much of a team they really are to be able to slide into different positions and still come through and get results. And it must be so easy, as there's another point for Loyalists, it must be so easy for Amy Hoskin and Dominique Dawes to coach this team. And
Yeah,
it's 19 to 10.
When you're coaching and you have a lot of talent, it's nice to be able to move that talent around too, because you can get more experienced play at different positions, and again use that as sort of an arsenal to wreak some havoc on other teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the Huskies again. Nice save by Miracle there. That looked like it was down and out. Nice block though at the net by Lamprecht. Keep it alive. Estabrook gets it up, and that's a point for the Lancers. And Kristen Long isn't happy with that call to give the Lancers the extra point, or the 20th point of the game, of the set rather. 5 points away from a straight sets victory, and make it now 4 as Lorraine Spellman gets it in. 21 to 10, the Lancers have taken a big lead. Here's a toss up. In play, Walia. Up over to the open door there was Lamprecht. Spellman off the set from Estabrooks. Now to Mitchell with the spike. Nice block though by Kelsey Jane Lamprecht to give George Brown their 11th point of the set.
Yeah, that double block from George Brown was really good. It kind of telegraphed where that was going in the first place, so it was kind of an easy block, unfortunately.
Yeah, good positioning though too. You got to give credit where credit is due to the Huskies blocker there. There's a nice spike and a nice save off the net, still alive. Miracle keeps it going, and that draws a rousing applause from the attendees here at Loyalist. Staying alive again, nice block. Miracle alive again. 3 touches again. Yafu, the big spike, and that's going to be in play. What a job there by the Lancers. It looked like they were completely down and out. The play was over. They keep the sequence alive off the net. Raven Miracle with good work. Same with Sarah Piana Yafu. And it's going to be number 1, Loyalist number 1, that finishes off the spike. And Mitchell's serve is going to go long, so that's going to make it a 22 to 12 Lancers advantage.
Yeah, that aggression that you play at the net, getting those balls off the net and kind of forcing that point to get back is really important to stay aggressive at the net. And the Lancers certainly did that there for that last point.
There's another point for Loyalist, 23 to 12. Christine Madogo, all she needs is 2 good serves and a couple good rallies, and the Lancers have locked up the victory. Madogo up with the serve. Taken there by Lamprecht. Up it goes. Long puts it over. Nice punch by Lenevue to get it back over the net. Another spike from Long. Another nice block by Lenevue. Yafu is there to help as well. Madogo up for Spellman in the middle of the court. Yafu with a backwards toss over. Volleying it up is Long, and that's going to go out of bounds. That was actually volleyed up by number 16, Nicole Poupart out of Mississauga.
Yeah, that was a great rally. George Brown didn't give up on that point, that's for sure. It's too bad it didn't drop in for them, but they played hard there.
Christine Madogo, the potential set-winning, game-winning point. It's up for Long. Nice save made by Mitchell in the back. Spellman up. Madogo looked like he was going to take it, and then Yafu ended up grabbing it. Up now Long. Nice block by Lenevue, and the Huskies stay alive as the ball drops out of the reach of Yafu, and it's 24 to 13 Lancers. So the Huskies will get to serve. Loyalist has a chance to win here on a defensive point. Kristen Long back in deep. Long up. Yafu, that one hits our cameraman down there. Bounced right off of Yafu's hands and right into the back of him. He looks to be okay though, still fixing our tripod there. Here's Long again, 24 to 14 now is the score. Yafu, she touched it. That was going to be out of bounds, and not a smart decision by
That might have
Yaffa.
been the game right there, but yeah, she reached out for it to make the play on it.
Yeah, she thought she had a shot at it, and for good reason. She's got long arms, a good reach, and just unfortunately didn't get full control. Here's Spellman up. Yuck with a big spike, and that will do it. A clean 3 straight set victory for the Loyalist Lady Lancers, 25-15. They win in the third set. They also won 25-15 in the second, 25-9 in set number 1. That's their 7th straight sets victory of the season. That'll put them alone in first place in the East Division of the OCAA at 9-1. George Moralizing 0-10. And they're definitely not looking like a playoff team right now, as we will quickly get you caught up on the next game for these two teams as the handshakes go on. Wednesday the 17th, Loyalist will be at Seneca, and then they'll get some more home games going down the stretch drive into the playoffs. And George Brown, of course, they're going to have to be picking up their socks a little bit, getting back to work and trying to figure out a way to get a victory this season. Their next game will also be on Wednesday, 6 o'clock. They'll take on the Durham Lords, as the Lancers pick up a clean 3-set victory.
Yeah, you hear me?
And
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to Paul Papadopoulos. I think he's down there with Jody Mitchell, and once they're ready, they're gonna talk about
Here
a
with
little
Jody
bit of the
Mitchell.
game.
Jody, great game.
Thank you.
Tell me something. What's this going to mean moving forward now in the season?
Well, this is our kickoff. We have a big goal for the end of the season, and we have to do every game at a time, and this was a really good start.
So what are the challenges laying ahead of you before the playoffs?
We have a couple good teams like Algonquin and Georgian. They fight with us, same as Centennial and Seneca. So no game's going to be easy. Going in as first, we have this big target on our back, so we got to just truck through every point.
Great. Now you go rest up because you got a bit of business coming up with us, don't you?
A little bit.
All right, we'll have Jody joining Brock to call the men's game coming up. Back to you, Brock.
Jody Mitchell will have them down there on the sideline momentarily. And
Yeah, that was great. Jody's going to be commentating the men's game. She's going to be doing some color commentary for the men's game coming up next. It's been it was a good, very good game, very good showing for the Lancers, and I was very happy to join you, Brock. Thanks.
yep, not a problem at all, Eric. Thanks for being on, and it's been a good game as well. Loyalists with a 3-set victory, their 7th straight 3-set victory of the season. They're really taking the OCAA by storm, 9-1, all alone in the East Division. Definitely come out and support this team because they are such an entertaining group to watch, such a happy group, and they're so tight-knit too. So definitely come and watch them play here at Loyalist College Gymnasium. We'll now head off to the men's game, but we'll take a break and come back to you here with the men's Huskies and the men's Lancers. This is the OCAA right here on Loyalist College TV.